Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing good, man. All right.
Cool.
Welcome to this podcast is Uncalled For.
What's uncalled for about it?
Well, you can't tell anybody this.
I'm listening.
Oh my God, what are you doing? I didn't see the big deal about the human body.
I worship Cthulhu just for the free beer.
Yeah, and don't go to Sam's Club either.
But you didn't even give him a chance for a wild card spot.
What are we doing at Tijuana?
He was like, what did you just say?
Well, the name of this podcast is Stuff Uncalled For?
This podcast is uncalled.
Podcast, all right.
Yeah, that was the most ridiculous ending to that game that I've ever seen.
Oh my gosh, I gotta hurry up. Oh my gosh, I gotta hurry up. Oh my gosh, I gotta hurry up.
We're looking at each other in the eye. We're not going to say anything derogatory to the other person. And, of course, neither of us is drunk.
So I don't hear Pope Francis saying that he's a prophet, seer, and revelator.
What planet are these people on?
Thank you back from.
This is a disgrace.
How'd that happen?
And it's got Chick-fil-A.
Hey, we're getting somewhere.
And now, your host for this podcast, Mike Chernefsky.
Fuji!
So welcome to the podcast. Welcome to yet another edition of Ski Recycles Old Stuff. So today, we're going to recycle the only interview we conducted on the Wingside Coaches podcast, which was mostly my friend Tim Crippen, who of course you remember was on the podcast early on. He interviewed Jim Chappell, who was the owner of Chappell's Sports Museum and Restaurant in North Kansas City. Since then, of course, they've sold the place, but still operates as a sports museum and a restaurant. What I mean by sports museum, the place is huge, and the walls are all covered in various sports memorabilia. He has a replica of an Oakland A's World Series trophy. He has football helmets in the overhead. And it's everything. Even the restrooms have sports collectible stuff. And the food is pretty darn good. And I will actually turn it over to Sam and I, circa 2014. And we'll be replaying that interview. Hello, welcome to the Wingside Coaches. I'm Mike Chernefsky.
I'm Tim Crippen.
And we are privileged to have Jim Chappell of Chappell's Restaurant and Sports Museum. Jim, welcome to the program.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
Yeah. What inspired you to start this set this place up and everything?
Well, it started out as a political and sports bar 28 years ago, and about the first couple of weeks, the political stuff kind of went to the side. I had the senator at the time, Kid Bond, cut the ribbon, and Bill Grigsby, the voice of the Chiefs, still represented as political and sports. But the political stuff basically in the office now, and I only had 65 seats at the time. Now I got 235, so this whole side over here has been an addition, and I expanded 4 times, and then I bought the buildings, and this is where we are now.
Wow.
I see you have, like Mike was saying, just many multiple sports memorabilia pieces. What's probably your most favorite piece that you own here at your bar?
Usually people say, what's my favorite thing in here? And I always say my customers. But
That's a good answer. Yeah.
That gets to be an old joke. I don't have any one favorite thing. I have a Heisman Trophy, a World Series trophy, 2 Olympic torches, a Gold Glove, Babe Ruth ball, Ty Cobb ball, and a lot more baseball, Hall of Fame baseball, and all the helmets. Those are my favorite things. Did I say Olympic torches?
Yeah, you did. Yeah.
Those are my favorite things.
Anyways, how many helmets would you say we're looking at right now?
Well, I don't know how many
hanging
you're looking
overhead and everything is on.
I don't know how many you're looking at right now, but I'll tell you how that came back. USA Today, the newspaper, did an article on the top 50 sports bars in the country, and they did one from every state, and they did me from Missouri.
Okay.
And at the time, I had the World Series trophy, the Heisman Trophy, the Gold Glove, and the torches and everything, but I only had about 50 helmets. This guy from Glendale, Arizona, he gets on the front page because he had 1,000 helmets. I said, he got on the front page because he had 1,000 helmets, and I got all this stuff. So I got aggravated. I went out to get 1,000 helmets. Within the first week, I had about 235 more because I ran into a Rydell guy that saved us, so I bought those. Mm-hmm. Now I tell everybody I got 1,001 helmets.
Wow.
And I do have over 1,000.
Yeah. Now, I saw the World Series trophy that you happen to have there. I'm just kind of curious, how were you able to acquire?
It's easy.
Okay.
Charlie Finley was a friend of mine.
Okay.
And he was a friend of mine because he wanted to promote striped football because his grandson played high school football, and he claimed that most high school stadiums are not well lit, which is true. And so he came up with this football. Now, he was innovative in sports because he did the green bat, the orange ball, the white shoes, and he changed the color of baseball, that uniform over there.
Okay, the green and yellow.
Yeah, they used to be all white and gray, and gray. And so he's very innovative, and so he got to know me because I knew people at the National Federation of High Schools, and that's where he's trying to do his ball. So we became friends, and I remember sitting in Tucson at a resort, sitting there drinking champagne in the morning with him, and we just liked each other. And he had 3 World Series trophies. I went up to his office, and they're sitting right there. There's a picture of me with these 3 trophies, 72, 73, and 74. I said, Charlie, those should be in Kansas City, because he moved from here.
Yeah.
And I said, why don't you sell me some of those trophies? And I gave him all the reasons he could and everything like that. He says, so he called me. He says, well, I won't sell you these trophies, but he says, we have more than one trophy. He says, I had 4 from 74. He said, I had one for myself, which is sitting on my desk, one for home office guy, one for the team, athletics got one, and one for his son. He says, I'll get you one of those. So that's how I got it.
Okay, great.
Nice.
And now, like, Kaufman has 4 trophies, too. One for himself, one for the team, one for Fogelman, who was part owner at the time, and one for Marion Labs. Mm-hmm. But on a Super Bowl trophy, you only get 1 trophy, and that's made by Tiffany.
Right.
Only
okay.
one.
Okay.
You can't get a duplicate. Excuse me, you can get a duplicate, but it's not a real one. Like, the World Series trophy I got is real.
Yeah. Kind of like the rings that you're wearing, are they kind of like the replicas? Or
This is, I was inducted in the Missouri Sports Hall of Fame in the class of 2013.
Okay.
That's what this is.
All right. And the other one?
This is well, it's a real ring, but it's the Super Bowl ring of '69. But they will have those at auctions or something like that. And a couple of players made this available to me. And that's how I got it.
Nice.
Excellent.
It's made by Jocelyn, I believe, and they. If the Chiefs say you can get a ring, they auction off. You can do it. That's how I got it.
All right, excellent.
Now, granted, we just finished up the World Series here in 2014 for the Royals, and it was a great and magical season. But I'm sure you're thinking to yourself, 85 was just as great, and do you still feel like the memories are about the same or even better this year than they were even 29 years ago?
Well, I was around 29 years ago. It was the year before I opened the restaurant.
Okay.
And I was at the game in 85 and the game in 2014. This is more magical because first thing, we became a major league team in '69. As 11 years later, we won the championship. 1980 and played the Phillies. We lost in the World Series. And then 5 years later, we were in a World Series game. So that was right behind us. Now we waited 29 years. And in the 1st of August, we weren't supposed to be in the World Series. So we won it towards the end there. So everything was just going to a crescendo at the end there. And so it was a lot more fun. And we don't have a superstar. And like I was quoted in the front page of Kansas City Star, people in Kansas City are crazy. Good crazy, but we're all crazy. And this is a better year, even though we didn't win it all.
No, I agree. All right. Do you have any more questions?
Yeah, I mean, I look at all this stuff, and like I said, I mean, to me, I mean, it's a great museum. You know, it's probably the best I've ever been to since I went to Cooperstown a couple of years ago. And of course, this was just dealing with baseball, but you're dealing with baseball, football, and right next to us at our table, I'm seeing boxing gloves signed by Muhammad Ali. I mean, I don't even. All I can just say is thank you, Mr. Chappell, for putting this together, because this is probably one of the most neat sports memorabilia restaurant and museums that I've ever been to.
Well, thank you. Cooperstown came to see me.
Oh, really?
And they invited me up there, so I went up there. And they were very impressed. They walked in and looked around. They said, "Jim, where'd you get all this stuff?" So they were impressed. And so I had my connection with Cooperstown also.
All right, excellent. One last thing, we got Plug the Restaurant, of course. So where are y'all located, and how can people find you?
It's 323 Armour Road in North Kansas City, Missouri. And it's easy to get. It's got the awning out there that says Chappell's Restaurant and Sports Museum. And we have one thing, people come in for memorabilia, but they come back for the food. You'll find out how good the food is here in just a minute. I see you got it in front of you. It doesn't get too cold.
Okay. Yeah, appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Nice talking to both of you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
You're always welcome at Chappell.
All right, thank you.
Well, that'll do it for this edition. So for Tim and Mike, and we'll talk to you next time. That's great.
Great.
This podcast is Uncalled For is hosted, produced, and edited by Mike Chernevsky. Opening music is Fantasia by Kevin MacLeod at incomptech.com, licensed under Creative Commons by Attribution 4.0 license. Additional music for this episode is Playing to Win, courtesy of freestockmusic.com. Please like, share, and subscribe to the podcast through your favorite podcasting platform. Like our Facebook page at facebook.com/uncalledforpodcast, and check out our blog with show notes at uncalledfor.home.blog.
Thank you so much for listening. We will see you next time.